Think of your occupation as your main outlet for originative expression. Your occupation might take the form of a revenue-generating career you execute or a business you handle, but it doesn't have to. Your occupation is your career. At a really basic level, it's simply what you do to take up your time. Naturally, if you're going to live consciously, this choice gets to be a kind of crucial one. Law of attraction, occupation and career blitzing. Develop extreme focus and enjoy what you are doing. Chapter 1. About your occupation. Understand the parts. Many individuals consider their careers in terms of the medium, which is the particular technique you utilize to express yourself. For instance, you may say that I'm an author, speaker, or blogger, as those exemplify some of the media outlets I utilize to convey myself. Most career titles are specified in terms of expressive media, including physicians, attorneys, policemen, teachers, pilots, etc. The content of your occupation is at least as crucial as the medium. Your medium is how you convey yourself, but your content is what you convey. My content is about consciously developing as a human, but I may convey that same content through separate media. I may write about it, talk about it, or even make a film about it if I wish to. Somebody else may utilize these same media to convey a completely different message. For instance, a physician's content may be about healing, consideration, scientific discovery, training, verve, or an assortment of other possibilities. Simply because two individuals share a similar medium doesn't imply that they share the same content. Really often individuals identify themselves with the medium of their careers. This is a big error. Your medium is simply a shell, it can't specify you as an individual. You are able to anticipate that your occupation medium will alter over time, but your content will be much less changing. Your content is who you are, although your medium is merely how you decide to convey yourself. A long time ago, I decided to convey myself through the medium of direct sales. Nowadays, I prefer authoring and speaking. Many years from now, I might be doing something completely different, but my fundamental content of conscious development is unlikely to alter much. Likewise, your real occupation path is about your content, not your medium. In this book, you'll research career development in great detail, with attention to both your medium and your content. To have a satisfying occupation, you have to identify your core content and adopt a suitable medium for conveying it. Unless you're already ludicrously passionate about your current state of affairs, there's a great chance that your medium is a pitiful match for your content. If you merely fell into your present profession, you might need to make substantial changes to realign yourself with reality, affection, and might. Adjusting such issues won't be simple, but you ought to know by now you are worth it. Chapter 2. Occupation, reality, and affection. Synopsis. What do you see when you look at your present occupation? What do your most truthful anticipations reveal about your path? Did you pick out this path, or did you merely fall into it? Is your occupation lined up with the reality of who you truly are? If you were beginning over from nothing now, would you pick the same profession once again? Do you have any sorrows about the courses you didn't pick? Choose. To line up your occupation with reality, you must ask these hard questions and answer them as frankly as possible. Swallow your answers even if you don't love what you see. You're always free to make another choice from this point forward, but in order to do so, you have to be categorically accepted where you are. Never make believe you love a job that you recognize is wrong for you. Reality is a crucial part of career growth. This means being real with yourself as well as being down to earth and pragmatic. One pragmatic consideration is that you have to yield sufficient revenue to meet your needs. While it's surely possible to take in revenue outside your main occupation, for most individuals a career serves as the primary source of revenue. Doing what you like won't be really sustainable if you can't pay off your bills. A different pragmatic consideration is choosing a medium that fits your content. It may be really challenging to get this correct on your first attempt. But the great news is that you aren't confined to just one try. You're free to switch your medium over time as you get more lined up with the reality of who you are. Once I was involved in direct sales, my inner content was still about development and betterment, although I wasn't as aware of it as I am now. I got interested in writing books as I was attracted to the hurdle of such work. There were so many enchanting things to learn, like graphics, and more. Working in this area was a fantastic growth experience and kept me busy for many years. I don't regret it in the least. As I advanced further along this occupation path, I got less intrigued in basic ebooks, and I later developed a course. Really, I was attempting to convey my passion for personal development through the medium of writing. That specific medium gave me enough expressive might, but it wasn't an ideal fit for my content. Most individuals who purchase ebooks are looking for info, but I wished to do more than simply provide info. At the time, all the same, I was still blind to the fundamental pattern. I had stumbled on the medium of writing, but it wasn't till many years later that I earnestly considered it as an occupation. I'd always thought of myself as a sales guy, not an author, but the fresh medium of writing was a much better fit for my content. In the time it took me to develop a single sales ad, I could produce many articles on an assortment of different subjects. The idea of affection relates to a great extent to the message of your occupation as well. When you distinguish your core content, it will unite with you on a really deep level, and the emotional release of that association may literally move you to tears. Chapter 3. Career and Might. Synopsis. You're totally responsible for your own occupation path, so it adds up to build a career you want rather than settling for what you don't wish. Your present situation is the outcome of your previous selections, so if you aren't pleased with it, remember that you're always free to make fresh selections. The only one who may keep you trapped is you. Power. Prevent the common error of settling for an occupation that disempowers you. If you discover yourself in a spot where your donation is neither treasured nor respected, get up and go away. Go where your gifts are appreciated. Otherwise, you're merely abusing yourself. You merit having an empowering occupation, but that won't occur till you fully commit to it. The obstacles and reversals you come across aren't meant to keep you from accomplishing your elemental goal. They're simply part of the training course you have to finish in order to prove you're secure enough to hold on to your aspiration once you accomplish it. Demonstrate by your actions that you're 100% dedicated, and the obstacles will tend to drop off on their own. If it requires years to reach your goal, then so be it. The time is going to pass anyhow, so you may as well put it to great use. A long time from now you'll either be where you wish to be, or you won't. You are able to either invest your time in development or do on the sidelines. Your career selection isn't simply an individual matter. Your choices in that area impact us all. Unity promotes you to consider your career effect on an even richer level. What may you do to make a favorable difference in the world? What are you here to give? Will your donations be physical, mental, social, scientific, aesthetic, moral, or something else? Your occupation is your basic outlet for contribution. Do your present choices honor the fact that we're all affiliated, or do you live solely for yourself at the expense of other people? It isn't adequate to do no harm. You have to commit to doing good. Chapter 4. Career and Bravery. Synopsis. Where is the career course with a heart and soul, the path that terrifies you, the path that agitates your soul, the path you in secret fantasize about? Get brave. This is the path that respects the true you. That's the course that keeps you lined up with reality, affection, and might. If you aren't doing something that frightens you and challenges you, you're performing too shyly, missing golden chances that may make a true difference. If your career course doesn't demand bravery, you're in the wrong occupation. If you prevent all risk, you'll only soften yourself. If you abide by the heart-centered path, you can anticipate taking risks from time to time. A few will turn out in your favor, some will not. If your choices are made intelligently, though, the accumulative effect will almost surely be favorable, in many cases, to a tremendous degree. However, when you accept risks, you're making wagers where you anticipate the odds to be in your favor. Even so, these chances won't always pay off. Occasionally you might place a huge bet and lose, and the loss will set you back for many months or more. But how many of those wagers may you afford to make in your life? Even if you have only a slight edge, finally you'll succeed enough times to more than cover your deprivations. The more you turn a loss, the more you learn, thereby skewing the odds in your favor with every subsequent wager. If you just stay with it long enough, you'll shortly get around the failures and get into the long term where the likelihood keeps getting better as you're gaining useful experience and wisdom. Chapter 5. Career and Being Intelligent. Synopsis. To establish a genuine career, you have to discover the course that keeps you lined up with reality, affection, and might. This calls for paying attention to the accompanying 4 questions. Body, requirements, what must I accomplish? Brain, powers, what may I accomplish? Heart and soul, want, what do I wish to accomplish? Spirit, donation, what ought I accomplish? Get smart. A genuine occupation is discovered in the place where all 4 of these questions get the same response. This is the occupation that meets your needs, leverages your powers, satisfies your wants, and makes a favorable contribution to other people. This implies that your body, brain, heart, and spirit are lined up with reality, affection, and might. Think about your present career in light of the queries here. Are you successfully balancing all 4 of these fields, or did you only get a few of them right? Does your occupation render sufficient revenue to meet your needs without making you to drop into debt? Does it use your strengths and gifts? Do you like the work you do daily? Are you doing work that really interests you? Motivation is most potent when these 4 areas are harmonic. If any area is deficient, it will drag down the other 3. It might take substantial effort to build up an authentic occupation, but it's decidedly worthwhile. When you've all 4 areas working synergistically together, the blended effect is really amazing. Rather than meeting your needs, you feel real abundance. Rather than applying your knowledge to your undertakings, you unlock your real genius. Rather than stomaching your daily routine, you work in a state of pleasure. And rather than simply putting in the time, you fill your days with purposefulness. What if you understand these 4 areas are out of balance? If you can't directly target all 4, where should you start? Of all of them, the heart and soul area is the better place to begin as it produces to all the rest. There's a little truth to the belief that if you do what you like, the cash will follow. It's not quite that easy in practice, but the primary principle is right. If you merely continue doing what you like, you'll finally get great at it. When you reach an adequate skill level, you'll be able to portion out the value you produce to other people, and many individuals will value it. Then if you merely ask for reasonable value reciprocally, you may start to generate revenue from your work. This procedure might take a lot of years to blossom, but it will lead you to a really favorable place, and it all begins with doing what you like. Think about the alternatives. When you aspire to meet your needs first and last, it's simple to fall under the trap of doing soulless work to bring in decent money. The longer you go with that course, the more skill you form at something you don't like. As you acquire experience in that profession, your revenue might continue to rise. But you aren't content, and you likely aren't contributing in a way that satisfies you. The longer you abide by this course, the bigger a hole you dig for yourself. The subordinate gain of your revenue substitutes for the real fulfillment you truly crave. If you discover yourself in that situation, I'm sorry to tell you that the better way out is to let yourself to collapse. Bring reality, affection, and might back into your life. Another baffling alternative comes up when you do your best to give to the cosmos, but fail to serve the other three areas. Such individuals tend to be really loving and compassionate, but they don't put forth the work to acquire the skills that would make a substantial contribution possible. They're a great deal aligned with affection, but their might is way too feeble, and this suppresses their ability to give. They have to continue putting their grand mission on hold in order to scrape up enough cash to pay the rent. If you wish to change the cosmos, then pick an approach that will be effective. You won't do anybody much good if you can't fulfill your primary needs. Wrapping up. In order to produce a fulfilling career, you have to make conscious career choices. You can't merely play follow the follower, schlepping down a path that other people are following even as blindly. Don't compromise. If you discover yourself on a course without a heart and soul, get off of it as swiftly as you are able to. Others might protest aloud, but a couple of years later, you'll find that something quite funny occurs. The same individuals who hated you for leaving will flip-flop and ask your advice on how they may accomplish what you did. The reason individuals get furious in such situations is that you drive them to face the objectionable truths they've been putting off also. You'll be an inspiration for other people who wished they had your bravery. This is true even if the hardest resistance comes from your own loved ones.